Number 1, which set of coefficients balances the equation? When you look at a chemical equation, coefficients are the numbers that you find in front of each of the chemicals, so it's where these lines are located right now. What you're supposed to know is that we have what we call the law of conservation of mass, which means we can't create or destroy any matter. So we're having to put numbers in these places so that we can multiply them to the subscripts, these little small numbers, so that both sides of the equation are equal to one another. So right now you would kind of look at each of the individual elements and see who needs to be fixed. When I look at this side, I can see calcium has 1. On this side, I see calcium has 3. So what I'd like to do is place a 3 in this blank, and when I do that, 3 times 1, that tells me I have 3 calciums. My calcium has been conserved. But if you notice, I also have a 3, and it's changed what I have here in these parentheses. Now this is what we call a polyatomic ion. You don't have to worry about that fancy name, but right now you need to recognize that I have 2 already there. When I put a 3 in front, we multiply, so it's 3 times 2. If you notice on the other side of the equation over here, here's that same grouping of elements, and there's only one set of those. So if I have 6 on this side, if I place a 6 here, then I have 6 of those as well. Plus you can see if you break it down, if I was to look, for example, the carbons, this is 6 times 2, there's 12 carbons. If I look at this, covering up the 3, I've got 2 times 2, I've got 4 carbons, and 4 times 3 gives me 12 as well. So it is matching up. I also noticed that when I did put my 6 on this side of the equation, my K, which stands for potassium, has 6, but on the left-hand side, I only have 3. So we have to find something that they can have in common, and the answer would be 6. If I place a 2 in this blank, 2 times 3 equals my 6. Now, I go back and check other things. I've got 2 here, and notice I have a big clump of elements again, PO4. But if you notice on this side, I also have PO4, so they stayed together. This says I have 2 sets of those, but once you put the 2 here in this spot, it made 2 sets of those as well. So when you look at all these together, we can count out individually. I have 3 calciums. It looks like I had 4 times 3, 12 carbons. Let me try to, sorry. Let's see. If I cover this up again, 2 times 3, 6 hydrogens. 6 times 3 is 18. If I do my oxygens next, just covering it up, just checking. 2 times 2, that says I have 4 there. 4 times 3 is 12. I have on this side 6 potassiums, 2 phosphorus, and I have 8 more oxygens. So plus 8 more, which gives me a total of how many? Now, the idea is this side should have the exact same number. So let's check just to make sure, and this is what you can do on your test as well. So I go through. If this stays like this, that means there is a 1 here. I have 3 calcium, so far that's looking good. According to this, I've got 2 phosphorus. I look here, good, check. I have 8 oxygens here, because 4 times 2, so I'm going to put 8 on this side. I have 6 potassiums, so I look for my potassium as a 6, that's checking. Right here I've got 6 times 2, 12 carbons, that checks. 6 times 3, 18 hydrogens, that checks. 6 times 2, 12 more oxygens, and what do you know? It equals the same. So that means it's a 3, 2, 1, 6, and the only one that follows that would be letter H. Number 2, silver bromide is a type of halide. Elements from which group in the periodic table are necessary to form halide compounds? When you look at the periodic table, because it does say silver bromide, halides comes from the word halogens, and you're supposed to know that the halogens would be column 17 over here. Now, if you look back at our previous problem, silver bromide, here's the bromine part. So, what we're looking for in this case is something that would have a halide compound. You're looking for something that would be in that particular column. And if we go back to our periodic table, you follow up, that says column 17, so the best answer would be group D.